Everybody ready? Pay attention. Thank you, Sophie. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the world's fastest game show. And part of the world's fastest game show is there's going to be 3 signals you're going to have to learn. So for personification, you're going to do this, right? Person. Can I see that? Fallon, can you show me personification? Awesome. Caleb, personification. Excellent. What about, and then symbolism is going to be pointing everywhere, right? You can find symbolism in just about everything. And then finally, we're going to have rhythm. We're going to tap on our heads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, and we're all going to answer at the same time using these symbols. No rhythm to what I'm saying right now, so you should not be hitting yourself in the head. So I'm going to give a hint, and we're all going to answer at the same time. So, say with personification, what will we be doing? Yes, we're pointing at ourselves. All right. So, first hint, let's see. The American flag is an example of this. Excellent. What about, all right, this phrase is an example of this. I fell down, down, down. Right on. You guys got it? Dominic, did you rhythm yourself to death? Good. Let's see. The cloud, this is an example, this sentence is an example of something. The clouds cried tears of joy. Personification. Awesome. A dove. White dove. Excellent symbolism. Let's see. All right. This is a example of something. Stop this rhyming. I really mean it. Anybody want a peanut? Ian, you don't know what that is? Oh, it's rhythm. Excellent. So let's self-assess ourselves. Who got 6 or more right? I know there was 6, so if you got 7, you're playing your own game. Who got 4 or less right? All right, so we're all experts in personification. What's personification again? No, what's personification? The symbol? Sophie's got it. Yep. Thumbs up. Thank you. What about rhythm? What was rhythm? And then, Kayla, can you show me symbolism? Symbolism. Excellent. All right. So let's see here. So, now we're going to be talking about story presentations, literary devices, the giving tree, and you. What is you the subject of? What type of sentence is that? I can't hear you unless your hands are up. Alan. What sort of sentence is that when that's the subject?
It's kind of, it's a command.
Well, yeah, right. It's an imperative sentence, right? Gave itself away? Oh, it's over there. Excellent. Thank you. I can't understand when everybody's talking. If you could please be respectful of speaking those. Excellent. So we're going to briefly talk about stories. So how are stories presented? How do you take in stories? Nick, could you do me a favor and sit over there, please? So you're not tempted to talk to Ricky. So Alan, how are stories presented? Give me an example of how you might have a story presented to you.
You could present a story kind of like by giving the main idea but with details.
Right, that's a good point. I'm thinking a little less specific. Like what sort of senses what's a sense that we would use? What sort of
Well,
story?
stories are presented usually
story presentation than what we see? Books. All right. What about another one that we see? Picture book. What's another one we might see? Articles. Another one we see. Alan, what we might see? Film. Cool. What's a way that we take in a story could be presented that we hear? Audiobooks. Cool. Kyle? Audio tape, sure. Barry? Out loud, right? I could read to you. I could also just tell you a story, right? Perry and I, we were running through the jungle, some tigers were after us. It was crazy, right? That was the story that we just told, right? That's a way to get the stories. Thank you. So these different presentation types, what do you get out of that? Why is a movie different from, say, an audiobook?
The movie is different from an audiobook because an audiobook you just listen to, but in a film you have to watch and listen to it to actually obtain the entire story.
Okay, cool. Ian, do you have another difference?
In a video where like it has a picture along with like the sound and everything, but like an audiobook will have like just the sound. You have to picture it in your own head.
Right, you have to picture in your own head, right? So different types of presentations give you certain information and also allow you to make your own connection. So like if I'm telling you a story, that's different from hearing a story, right? I'm telling the story of Perry and I running through the jungle differently than maybe the audiobook version of Perry and I running through the jungle might be. Excellent. So if we can stop talking, please, that would be excellent. So who has read or is familiar with The Giving Tree? So how is The Giving Tree presented? In a book. And how does The Giving Tree, in picture books specifically, Nick, can you sit in the back of the room, please? You're still talking to Ricky. It's not very respectful to the rest of us. So how are picture books usually shared, Alan?
Through
Through a
like a picture.
picture, sure.
Like an illustration.
Through an illustration, awesome. And Brandon, do you have another way they're usually shared?
Yeah, they like talk and like share the picture.
Right, so there's usually picture books, there's a presentation to them, right? I would read you The Giving Tree, and I would hold the book out so you can see it and read the dialogue to you, right? You probably saw that a lot when you were in elementary school. Your teacher would read to you, you see pictures. Do you have you read the kindergartners, right? Oh, you read this? Oh, perfect. So that's sort of a part of the presentation that comes along specifically with picture books, right? That we don't see, say, with movies. I'm not going to play a movie for you and read the movie subtitles, right? Just watch the movie. So that's a difference in the presentation between picture books and other sorts of presentations. So, got that problem. Well, first we're going to read The Giving Tree together. We are. And if we could not talk, sorry, I'm having a computer issue. All right, so here we have The Giving Tree. And while we're reading this together, I want us to think about the three literary devices we talked about. What was personification again? And what about rhythm? And symbolism? All right, so we want to think of those three things. And we also want to think about how the presentation looks. So let's start with this. What sort of page is this? Mina? Title page. Where have you heard the word title page in, say, past 24 hours? Alan?
Well, like in the past 24 hours,
Yeah, maybe in this room.
I was
you heard it?
like reading
Okay. Is there someone in this room who said the word title page to you? Mr. contour, and what context was he using the title page? What assignment was he talking about?
The picture book assignment.
The picture book. Awesome. So if we are picture book authors, which everyone here should be, we want to look at this, right? This is our title page. We have our author, the title, and then we have sort of a hint as to what the story may be about, right? So what do we know about the giving tree? The tree that gives hope. And what does this sort of look like? Like that a person might do, or the
It looks like someone's like reaching their arm out, kind of.
reaching their arm out, exactly. Jenna, could you sit a little further back? I keep hearing your voice. Right. So, and what is that when we have the tree doing something with a human-like quality? Feel free to, yeah, there we go. Lorenzo's got it, right? Personification. Awesome. So, once there was a tree. What can someone tell me about how this page is laid out? What's interesting about it? Kyla.
It's not really a sentence. It just says like once there was a tree and a tree says leaf. It's like, do you know what about the tree? And then the dot, dot, dot.
Awesome. Very interesting. Great. Strong lead. We want to know what's the deal with this tree. Ricky, do you have a question, or are you just not paying attention? Not paying attention, right?
Yeah.
It's not very polite to do that. And she loved a little boy. So what do we see in this frame? What's interesting about this frame? Robert.
There's a foot coming up to the side.
Right. So as an audience, we're thinking, who does this foot belong to? Who is this little boy? Why does this tree love a little boy, right? I can't understand you when you're calling out. Do you have a question? Something you want to share? No? Okay. Every day, the little boy would come. So what do we see in this picture that's interesting? Okay, so it's showing the repetition of the boy coming to the tree, right? What do we notice about the tree? Right, it's embracing the boy. Awesome. And what is that? What sort of hand gesture would we show for what the tree is doing? Personification. Right, Ian? Personification? Yeah. And he would gather leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. So you can see the little boy looking like Caesar, with a crown of leaves around his head. And what's the tree doing? Alan?
The tree is kind of like, moving its leaves in sort of like an arch, kind of like,
Yeah, an archway, maybe, maybe have the king pass through. Yeah, awesome. And he would climb up the trunk. What's interesting about this illustration?
There's a bunch of hands and feet going up the tree.
Right, so we get the sense of the boy climbing up the tree without actually having the animation of a boy climbing the tree, right? And he swings from her branches. Same thing, see we see the boy's feet. Multiple feet showing the action of the boy. And he eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. Someone show me the hand gesture for what the tree is doing right there. Yeah. Personification. Right, Noah? Personification. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. See, we're getting, what's disease? What sort of detail is that? Right, I'm thinking of a specific word, starts with an S, some kind of detail. Count? Has to do with your senses. Oh yeah, excellent. But what sort of detail am I looking for? Snoring detail? Sensory detail, right? So the sensory detail isn't in the actual text, it's in the picture, where we get the idea of a little boy going, snoring under the tree that's under an umbrella, as Colin pointed out. And the boy loved the tree. So we see the tree punching the boy back. very much, and the tree was happy. And what do we see on the base of the tree? What's that heart a symbol for?
Kind of like he loves the tree.
Right. So we're seeing symbolism. What was symbolism again? Yeah, what was symbolism? Cool. All right. Well, cool use of symbolism there. The time went by. So what do we see now? What's different?
The boy is older.
Boy's older. Right. And the boy grew older. What do we see that's different now about the tree and who's in the picture?
Well, instead of saying he just me, taking the first part, the lower part, says me plus down.
Sure. And who else is at the tree that wasn't there before?
Like maybe a friend.
Sure, a friend. So the boy, probably a friend he's in love with, right? There's a heart there. So the boy's getting older. And the tree was off and alone. So what sort of mood is the tree showing here with its sonification? What is the branches doing? Right, so it's sort of, kind of bumming, right? The boy left it alone. Poor tree. All right, so what's different about this frame that we framed earlier? I'm thinking specifically of the text. What's different about the text?
It is green, like, when it says the tree is talking, the thing is that, it sort of represents that, like, the tree is, vivid or something like that, because it's a piece of nature.
Interesting. That's actually not in the book. Whoever did this slideshow decided to make it green, but that's an excellent point. I like your insight about it being vivid. Alan, what else is different?
It's the first time that in the text there's actually dialogue.
Awesome. Now there's dialogue, right? And just what about the amount of text?
There's, like, more sentences in there.
Right. And why might there be more sentences with the boy as the boy gets older? Tyler?
Because it's, he finds like
Okay, so the tree is trying to talk him into being back. What about being older would allow the boy to have more to say? Or why would there be more dialogue as he gets older? Right. So when you were a little kid talking to trees, you probably didn't have as much thing to say. You weren't able to articulate your ideas as well. And now he's a little bit older, probably about your guys' age. So let's see. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come on up and climb my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in the shade and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" So, who might this tree represent in your life? Who's someone that's always giving you things and you may not repay them in kind?
Your parents?
Your parents, right? So your parents are probably always saying all these things they want to do for you, all these nice things, and you probably say, "Give me money." Right? So when you get home today, maybe go to your parents before you ask them for some money. "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I only have leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, sell them in the city, and then you will have more money to be happy." So what's the apple representing here? What's its symbol for? Yeah, it's a symbol for money. It's a way that the boy can make money off what the tree can offer. And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy. Have we noticed any sort of repetition so far, any rhythm? What sentence have we heard several times?
And the tree was happy.
The tree was happy. Excellent.
And also, it's like every word in a row. It's like, and so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried
Excellent.
them away,
Yeah.
and the tree was happy.
Right. And what about and if the layout was different, right? It wouldn't have said that. If this was all one long line of text, we wouldn't have picked up on that excellent point that Kyle just made, right? The and. So again, when you're working on your books, you want to be mindful of these things. You can by the way you construct your layout. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. She said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." So what do we notice about the boy now?
He's not a boy anymore.
Not a boy. What sort of literary device might that be that's we're calling him a boy, but he's no longer a boy? Irony. Excellent. "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife and I want children, so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house. You may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy." And the boy cut off the branches and carried them away to build his house. So what sort of literary device might we see in this picture? Alan? Not kind of like hyperbole, hyperbole. Nailed it. It's totally overblown that this guy can carry all these branches, right? Look, his hand ends here, and he's carrying branches this far out, right? That's not hyperbole in how we've seen it so far with writing, but you can also have hyperbole in your pictures. So if you really want to emphasize something, I had a headache and my head felt this big, and you want to draw a huge head, that would show that that's how you felt, right? That's hyperbole in your drawing. The tree was happy, and Alright. We can focus again. And what is this? Alan? This word, this phrase right here?
Is a repetition.
Repetition, right? And the tree was happy. And why would this statement be ironic? Brandon?
Because he has no branches.
Right, he has no branches and the boy is gone, right? But the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play." "I'm too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. So what might this drawing be another example of?
I think it might also be like hyperbole.
Hyperbole. Excellent, right? How many old men do you know that carry entire trees at a time? I can't hear you unless you raise your hand. Ian?
I think that they kind of make like since the old man can't carry a tree, like it's smushing down. He can't
Right.
get ahead.
So that's another instance of hyperbole, right? So that the old man in this drawing is basically legs and a hand. Sorry, I can't hear people that aren't raising their hands.
Right, yeah, good point, you just said.
That's a great question. So what do we notice about, remember there was two hearts, right? Me plus T, and there was me plus YL. Why might the me plus T be left?
It's left because I guess it's kind of it's showing that the tree's still giving to him, and he's kind of forgotten about the other girl.
Right. So the tree is still there for him, right? The girl is left. And so the tree's given a lot to the boy, but what might the boy be doing now to the tree by leaving that heart there? Okay? Right, giving back. So maybe, the tree might actually be happy now because the boy is recognizing that they have this strong bond. The tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back. "I'm sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone." "My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I am too old to swing on the branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree, "and you cannot climb." "I am too tired to climb," said the boy. So what do we notice about text at this point? Okay. And what about the volume of text? 2 million years old, approximately. Right. so they have even more to say. I mean, this is basically their entire history together, right? They started with apples, and swinging on trees, climbing on trees. So they're reliving basically their whole lives together through this conversation. And there's a lot to say because, like Sophie said, the man is about 2 billion years old. I am sorry, sighed the tree. I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump. I am sorry. I don't need very much now, said the boy. Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired. Well, said the tree, straightening herself up. Anybody notice anything there? Personification, right? Do trees usually sit up straight? Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down. Sit and rest. And the boy did. And the tree was happy. The end. All right. So, go back to our present. Actually, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm sorry, I hear people talking. I don't know if this is an appropriate time to be talking or not. Sorry, 1 second. The computer keeps logging in. So, can someone give me a general impression of how well the author did in using the 3 literary devices we talked about? What do you think, Tyler? How did Shel Silverstein do? Give him a grade.
The person, I think it would be an A plus because
A plus, okay.
he didn't show it like a, he didn't put all of it in words, he put it in his, like, his pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was really strange, so he's kind of telling the story, and a little bit through the words, and mostly through the pictures.
Right, so there's a balance between the two, right?
You can find, like, things you would put into a story that would make it better, but, like, in pictures.
Awesome. What do you think, Kyle? How did give Shel Silverstein a grade?
A B minus. I like his tone.
Okay. So if I said I like your social studies better, I would give you a lower grade on
Okay,
your
fine,
assignments.
fine. I'll give him a
Okay.
I don't have a problem.
Okay. I mean, I can respect it, but really, if you want to give him a B minus, you certainly can. But just give me an example of why, based on the story, not what else he's done.
It's like, the story's good, I'm gonna lost the words in my figure book.
Okay. So now we're going to look at the same story. Ian, Kylan, and Jenna, can you guys all go to different parts of the, don't need to make hand gestures, I saw you talking. It's been several times you've talked now. So now we're going to watch a short film about the Giving Tree narrated by Shel Silverstein, whose poetry Kyle likes so much. And while we watch it, we want to think about what the differences are in the presentation, how this is different from a storybook, and what the strengths and weaknesses of those differences are. So please remember that we are not talking now. We are paying attention to this. If we're talking, we'll have to stop the film. It's really awesome, so I'd like you guys to watch it. But if we can't do it correctly, we won't